Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, Remembering the Human Factor in Cybersecurity Beyond 2021. Thank you for taking the time out and being here today. So we'll be running this live Q&A as part of this webinar. So we have enabled the Q&A feature, which you can find on the taskbar for Zoom. So if you have any questions, just pop them in there. And if you miss anything during this webinar, don't worry, we'll be sending out the recordings to you afterwards. I'm Rishon Richardson, the Managing Director here at Eknotec Services. I've spent the last couple of years dealing with information systems and security with a focus on managed services. Today, we'll be looking at the following: Policies and Business Continuity by Ms. Evanson at Evanson Strategy, Social Engineering with Recommendations to Protect Your Organization by Mr. Garcia at Nexus, Vulnerability Management with Microsoft by Mr. Lutchman at Nexus. And then I will be sharing a building a cybersecurity culture and awareness program within your organization. It's going to be a great webinar, so let's get into it. Don't forget, if you have any questions for any of the presenters, please shoot them into the Q&A and we'll get to them. So we'll begin with Ms. Everson. Ms. Everson, we'll turn the time over to you now.
Thank you, Rayshon. Just one moment. All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll jump straight into the presentation. And what we are focusing on here is the human sides of policies and business continuity. Because with everything that's happened, more changes to the technological field in the region, we have not spent enough time on the human side. I'm just going to quickly go through that. So I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this question or meme throughout this entire pandemic, which is who led the digital transformation of your company? And so far, I've seen about 95% of people respond that it's been COVID-19 that's led digital transformation. Whilst it certainly feels that way because it's been pretty abrupt for a lot of us, especially for small businesses, we've actually been moving towards a much more digital region for a number of years. For example, in Barbados and Jamaica, we have got national ID systems that are going in. In Barbados in particular, we're going to a digital ID system. Along with that, we have more biometrics being involved. For example, when you do your passports, when you apply at embassies, they're taking your fingerprints. They have them on record. And if you go through the airport, you'll realize you can pretty much wave your passport towards the machine and it's going to read everything on it about you. We're working towards cashless economies. We have this lovely pilot that's happened in the Eastern Caribbean with Bcash that's moved into actual use. We have cryptocurrencies, which many people in the Caribbean have been looking at, and more use of electronic funds transfers and such, particularly for remittances from overseas. Remote work is probably the biggest change that we have seen over the pandemic. Everyone has moved to remote working from home. And this has all been funded based on, backed by low cost, high quality, user-friendly technology. Much more fiber to the home, better bandwidth, less expensive, it's still expensive in relative terms, but less expensive hardware, laptops, mobile phones that are much more capable of doing things. So people can take advantage of all of these benefits. Along with that, the region's been changing, particularly over the past 5 years, such that companies and people have obligations towards privacy, accuracy of data, business continuity in particular, making sure your services run all the time because we're dependent on them. Transparency, we want to understand what is happening with what we're doing. Everything that we're doing, we should be able to understand what is happening. And security has become a very big thing for us. And there's legislation and national and regional programs coming in play. Privacy laws have come out in Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Bermuda has the privacy law, Bahamas as well, and more and more and more of the islands are developing a privacy law. Business continuity regulations. I can state up to at least 5 years ago, working at a large insurance conglomerate, we were asked by the regulators, hey, we're auditing you. What's your business continuity plan? And we had to provide it to the regulators. And this is a more common request. And then we have national cybersecurity response teams, specialized units in the police forces and in telecoms ministries, looking at cybersecurity because it's gone beyond just an occasional, oh, someone's used my credit card, to much bigger events, even in our region. For example, the COVID information for tourists and Jamaicans that was available through their website inadvertently. Tattile Life Insurance, part of Ants Macau, that had a ransomware attack that caused employees not to be paid for a month. Even if you are on Twitter or on social media, you will see people saying things like, someone emptied my account, or the bank just called me and said my card was used somewhere else. Amazon just got a record $888 million fine from the privacy regulators of France for how it's been using data. And the worst of worst, hospitals being hit by ransomware, which was a plague throughout 2020, and at least in this most recent case, may be related to the death of a baby. Now, we talk about all these things, but there's something that we haven't looked at as much as we should, even though it's a major concern, which is the human factor. So Kaspersky Lab, which is a Russian-based cybersecurity company, has done surveys. And as we see here, over half of businesses believe that the risks are from within, from staff either intentionally, through carelessness, or absolute lack of knowledge, putting businesses at risk. So it's moved now from having the cybersecurity protections in place or antivirus software into the human side and realizing the fallacies on the human side. Now, what we technically would do for that is corporate governance would say, okay, we've got to put in policies. But we've had a bit of problem in the region because the policies that we should put in for corporate governance come off more like compliance. In some firms in the region, you will have your annual compliance list of courses, mini courses or tests, exams you have to take within the company. You check off your list, everybody passed, everybody took it. And then everybody forgets it until next year when HR tells them that they need to do it. And even when we develop the policies, we have to combat a lot of things. We have to combat politeness. We want to respond to customers. We want to give them information. We want to respond to people. But sometimes in our eagerness to respond, do we make sure we've crossed off everything? Do we make sure the customers who they say they are? Do we make sure all the steps have been followed? Culturally inside a company, the policy might counteract with that culture. For example, one of Facebook's mottos is move fast, break stuff. That doesn't seem to fall in line with being too secure and making sure that everyone's data is being taken care of. And then, frankly, money. There is money to be made on the bad side. People who have been doing ransomware attacks have been doing it because they're being paid out. Another note within culture that I just forgot is embarrassment. The same Kaspersky study will tell you that some employees know that there's a breach, but they are embarrassed to reveal the breach. And that is a natural human emotion that you have to get past. But our policies also kind of tend to focus on punishment, and people will automatically try to avoid punishment, which can make things worse. So I mentioned that we kind of have this thing where it's more like compliance, check off the list and do everything, and then forget about it till next year. What that leaves then is a disconnect in users' minds. It's just a checklist item that comes up at whatever time of the year that people ask for it. They don't connect the coursework with the why. I am speaking personally. I've had an employee, we had a clean desk policy within the company. And until we had an incoming storm and she had to put all the files back, she did not understand what the importance of the clean desk policy was. It wasn't just to annoy you. It wasn't just to make your work harder because you have to get up and go and get files. It was a matter of protecting those files in the circumstances where a storm might be coming and you need to tidy up, clean up everything, cover down the work area. Or even just cleaning crews coming in and accidentally seeing people's information because it's still on desks. We've also had a sort of silo mentality about cybersecurity, privacy within companies in the Caribbean. I've worked for 20 years, both in the US and in the Caribbean, across IT and operations. And I can state many employees, unless they do any cross training in different departments, get the feeling that, oh, cybersecurity, that's IT's job. What do I have to do with it? That's part of IT's remit. That has nothing to do with me. Everything's in this silo and people do not realize how people affect each other within the silos. So we've got to rethink how we do all of this, particularly going forward in 2021. Now that we know that the human side is roughly 52% of the problem. And what we have to start with is continuous hands-on training. A lot more companies have been using, for example, phishing exercises that will be quietly deployed to their employees to gain their responses, and not necessarily looking to punish employees, but explain to them, okay, you failed the exercise. This is why, and these are the steps you should take. Now, that's not to say people have a unlimited number of times to fail, but the continuous training helps them. More direct training helps them. And it has to be pretty rigorous. There have been instances in the Caribbean that people don't speak about, but there have been instances with phishing exercises go wrong and someone sends out money. But it's the first time they've even seen a phishing email. So how prepared are they? So these sorts of rigorous hands-on training needs to happen, not just once a year, but throughout the year. This training, this awareness also needs to be integrated into daily processes of employees, which also requires you to know the process. I'm sure that you will find, if you go into any organization around the world, that there is the manual of the process. And then if you talk to an employee, there's a completely different way that the process happens. So for example, it might say, oh, when we do the general ledger reconciliation, we are going to put it in the system like this, and these are all the steps. And then you will go to the actual on the line accountant and hear, oh yeah, so I have this Excel spreadsheet and I do everything in the Excel spreadsheet first. And then I put it up there. Because of whatever reason, they may not know the process, they may not like the process, and they might be correct in that the process to work with the general ledger system is not as expedient as you think. So then we go to the next point, continuous improvement, which is continuous feedback. You have to know the processes. You have to integrate security into the processes. You have to integrate privacy into the processes and handling of items into the processes. But then you have to review the processes and the policies on a very regular basis to see if they still work. Things change very rapidly on the cybersecurity front. There are data breaches daily. There are attempts every second on most people's systems. You have to try, you can't keep up with everything, but you have to try your best to stay on that treadmill. It is a treadmill, but the best thing about getting fit is that you can keep going longer. And that's what you need to do. You need to start a continuous improvement of your processes. Make sure everybody knows the processes, are working to the processes, and are trained to go through the processes. And then instead of punishment, we have to look to incentives. You will find many of the bigger tech companies, the FANG group, Alphabet, so formerly Google, Facebook, and such, they have bug bounties. And whilst many people usually consider these bug bounties in a technical perspective, we should actually expand on that, because if there's one thing humans are really good at, is breaking your expectations. You will find that you will have the bug, gone through a process, done everything, done the security, and it will take someone who's on the front line, like the receptionist, to tell you, oh, but they could just do this, and then this whole process is mute. And to break the silos, you want the silos of companies, you want the incentive so that someone outside of IT, outside of whoever maps the processes, actually gets that information and can say, huh, they're right, and work with people to fix those holes. And the whole goal is we need to move from that 52% mistrust to trust, or else none of the digital transformation that we are going through will work as we expect it to. We can't have remote work if managers, executives cannot trust that people are using the systems as expected. We cannot have cashless economies and faster EFT transfers if we don't think people are going to be working as they should. So what we need to do is change our thought process, change the paradigm that we have about policies and business continuity from a kind of annual thing, a checklist on compliance, to a daily living, breathing, continuously refining part of everything we do at work. And that's where the trust will come in, because when you practice it daily, you get better at it and it becomes seamless. And that is very briefly my presentation, because I'm much more interested in answering questions than letting you watch slides. And again, my name is Liska Evanson. My information is here and I'm sure it'll be made available. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm very active on LinkedIn. And my company, or my branch of the company rather, specializes highly in IT and business project design, management, and technology and privacy solutions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Evanson. Appreciate that. I saw someone had a question, so they can actually post that question in the Q&A, and someone from our team will get through that question for you.
Rejam, you're in mute.
Sorry, I was saying that for the Q&A, you can post your question there, and we'll turn the time over to Pablo so he can present on social engineering.
Okay. Let me know if you see my screen by now.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, we're gonna talk about some social engineering, but more than transition to this digital transformation, like Miss Evanson really talk about it. It's important to know that we have the compromise to get security on our environment, and that security is not just because maybe we have some malware on the web and access to this site or something like that. Sometimes this phishing, this malware, this comes directly to the end user, and it's not necessarily the antivirus, anti-malware, anti-spam to protect me. I have to take my own understanding of attacks and understand what happens and how to do it, protect myself. And sometimes the victims of anti-malware attack, anti-ransomware attacks, they are around cyber defense, security solutions, is updating a lot of information, or a lot of people that have information stored on web has attacks already. And maybe my anti-ransomware, my anti-malware solution is up to date. But even if this happens, and the 91% of the organizations have these security solutions up to date, but have some kind of attacks, and this kind of attacks becomes directly to the end user, directly to the people, and well, some attacks becomes on email. 33% of the attacks on phishing comes from email, but we get different kinds of attacks in this thinking about stalling your information. And stall your information becomes directly to web. If I browse to my, I don't know, to my bank, or to my Facebook page, or to LinkedIn page, maybe I asking for a link directly to Google, not type Twitter, or not type Facebook directly, or click it on email I receive and go to the web. And that is another kind of attack, and you lose your information. Maybe you're trying to run an installation on your computer, on your mobile devices, and maybe you don't understand that the source of this package, maybe you download it from the App Store or web store, because you don't have the time to go that, and you get the APK installation package, and now try to run on your device, your own device, or the corporate device, or that .exe on your computer. Maybe you have administration rights on your computer, and you could install that software on your device, and this becomes problem. And 23% of the software on the web has malware. If you stick in outside devices like USB, or mass storage devices on your computer, or even in your phone, you had the risk of take some risks of take some malware to the computer. Phishing, we have a lot of definition of phishing, of functionalities of phishing. And what is phishing? Any type of attempt of tricky your information to obtain access to some information, personal information. Maybe phishing just thinking about emails, but we have phishing. It becomes directly from mobiles. Engineering strategies of collect this information is through web. When you trying to answer a post that please let us know your last name or your family last name, mother, and your date when you I don't know, become purchase your first car or become a dad. And this information shared with another databases, and this information maybe you use it to recover password in some kind of Facebook, maybe Google email, Hotmail email, and that information they use to hack your information, to hack your access. And maybe you really innocent give this information on web page, on Facebook, on Twitter, but you don't understand that opening some breach, opening some windows, some doors of this information, and give the access to this information to another people, you getting risk this, not just your personal information, maybe your corporate information, maybe at the risk of wherever you work. And clicking a link on an email, click it on link on Google search or whatever search you use is risky. Yeah, sharing confidential information by email, by phone, by text, WhatsApp, I don't know, Telegram. Maybe you transferring phones, but you transferring phones directly connected to, I don't know, open McDonald's connection, open McDonald's wireless, and maybe you get this understanding that McDonald's has access to free clients to get access to web, but maybe that's free access is accessed to through the same network, to the same connection from some hacking person, some hacking tools. And this maybe massing phishing or massing emails get you know that your subscription is expired, or your account or your credentials. So maybe some subscription you have already, you see, become an expert to emails and see, oh, okay, this becomes from Netflix. Yeah, I have that account active, and this is send me that email that I have to update my information, but I just did it that on, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, because I renew my subscription. And when you understand how to see the emails that maybe is not directly to you, like a customer, is dear Netflix, is not dear Raysham, dear Pablo, dear, yeah, it's not your person or not your name directly on email. And if maybe you see requirement of credentials of active some information, personal information, is risky for us. What these companies have in common? These companies have in common that is the most spoofed brands in phishing attacks. I just received the last 2 weeks Mac activation of the new phone is released, and please click on here to be aware to pre-sale this new phone. And that is a correct email, but behind this email comes another email with the same information, and you see the description is really different between. And how to I detect this phishing in attacks? And maybe if I don't request at money transfer, or if I don't request the target of some information of this person, of if the source, maybe I know that source, but I don't know that person that type me this email. Maybe I have to take a step forward, a step back, and see again the email and catch what happens on this on this requirement and what they need. Please see these three examples. These three examples have, the first one is an account and password reset. Maybe it's a correct password reset. The second one is the shopping. You're shopping. Maybe shop now is a good email. The direct, the address, the sender address maybe is correct. And this, the last one, you see, well, no reply. Everyone use not reply. Request just found. And what do you think? Which one of these are the phishing? Well, this one. Why? Because we have a lot of information that is urgent. Immediately click it on here. Please suspect if it's have a, I don't know, a spelling errors or poor grammar. And if you don't have this type of accounts, or if it's directly for your bank, please call your bank and say, well, I received this kind of email. No, it's not from us. We don't request that information. We don't need that information. Yeah, okay. What else? If you see the same example here, okay, this is from some kind of bill I have to pay. This come from customer service, mail, telecompany. Well, maybe that is not correct, but could be. Click here to additional plan options. I request the plan options, maybe. Not replay. I got, you have one message. Dear customer, login. Please click here belong. Go to online banking. Okay, maybe this is correct. Go see. No. This is phishing. This is phishing. Poor spelling. Bad forwarding. Is Zamanta is not correct. Full version. Storage work. This is correct. Yeah. And this, dear customer. I don't see that. Online link. Poor punctuation. The signature. Where is the signature? That is, you have to pay attention when you see from some emails, maybe looks like the same, but if you request some service to some provider, you understand how they work and how the emails come from, and you see this is not correct. I don't see any more problems here. The logo is not correct. I see that problem is directly from me, to me, sorry, to me. Now it's dear customer. And you see some difference between, okay, go ahead. This is phishing because dear customer, the logo, yeah. And you have to understand this every time. I received this email is interesting because I received this email yesterday when I prepared for this presentation. And the first I see is, well, my email says, you don't often get email from here. You understand that maybe this is a risk, maybe, but it's not spam. Okay, I don't work with these persons. Okay, I click on here. This is the link they open. Okay, go ahead. This is the link they open, this page. Office document. Okay, I'm gonna see what happens. Oh, Adobe Cloud document. That is not Adobe Cloud document. Why? Because trying to log in to Office 365, Outlook, or something else, emails. Don't understand why, but Manesh could correct me. Adobe don't want it or don't need to log in like that. And if you see the up screen of these logins, is this the address? This is not the Adobe Cloud address. This is a phishing. That's it. Please don't log in. Have the lock here. Yeah, it's a secure site. Yeah, it's a secure site, but it's not the correct site. Okay. The email always is the first attack door we used, but we have a lot of phishing emails that have a lot of requesting to let's meet next week, harassment, had opening and click, some clicks on these subjects that maybe think it's important to open this because I see that I don't know, the subject of the email is requesting something, and please don't do it, because some of these emails, like for example, we just opened two of these, is some type of email that is in this table is requirement. Employees have been asked to a mandatory harassment awareness training. Well, maybe, but human resources department maybe go a lot of announcement about that, not just an email, and not just directly for my email or directly for the to everybody on my site, on my end company, something like that. When you see two employees, some left their headings on the park a lot. To employee look, why I have to click it on here on internal access or internal email? It's not good idea. Click it on emails you receive. Cyber attacks really have a lot of perspective, a lot of visions, and maybe you getting some cyber attacks and you maybe even don't figure it out. And if maybe you are a student and you're trying to pay something, well, why, like a student, have to pay something? Or I don't have that kind of money. I have just I don't know, 18, 19 years old. I don't have a job right now. Why I have to read this assignment, course, feedback? I don't know. You don't understand that the this problem is not in emails. In text message, we have this problem. And if you're trying to access some payment details on emails, please protect your net. Who is the sender of this email? The signature is correct. Maybe you trying to understanding that the persons they have access to the emails have the need to understand and need to learn how the phishing emails are and how often they have these attacks on their emails. When you try to access some internal information, visitors, or something like that, maybe that is top risk security. Software is security exploits a lot of problems insecure wireless networks, when you're trying to connect to free access on Blockbuster, on Starbucks, McDonald's, something like that, please ensure that you don't use your connection to access your private accounts, banks, emails, Facebook. When these kind of access are free and trying to log in with Facebook access or Twitter access, please don't do it, because you're sharing your credentials with these services. Okay. We have a lot of tales about phishing, and just on that looks right. Yeah. If not looks right, please don't follow up. Something off, something is not good, something is wrong. Too good to be true. Yeah. Is that the first you think? Is too good to be true? Trust your instincts. If you are just a little suspicious, please close the email, share with your IT personal or something who knows what happens with this, what can I do with this. Generic salutations like, dear customer, please don't open it, don't use it. Okay. Official looking, maybe the site is not that information, maybe asking you enter sensitive data, please don't do it. Unexpected email from no one, or someone to maybe know you, but maybe the email that comes, this email is not the correct email, and you have to see that on your computer. Please, in wording that maybe the countdown, alert, urgent, that is not a good idea to use this on your email. And the grammar, always the grammar has a lot of because some hackers use translate or something, some tools to send the emails, and maybe these tools have some bugs to translate this kind of emails. Okay. Where is coming, if has urgency, you will won the grand prize on something that you don't participate right now. I subscribe to this, maybe not. Please show the old perspective, see the old perspective of these emails and thinking about what they requirement. And maybe you don't see difference between this, but it's a huge difference. It's another site, completely another site. Maybe seem like the same, but it's different 100%. Okay. Phishing, checklist and promises, harassment, instinct, please use your instincts, sense of urgency, and hit and delete. Please delete that emails, because some of these emails are not good. Not for emails just on your computer or phone, is phishing from mobiles, Facebook. Maybe answer this questions, maybe try to know you, maybe you wanted to know your, I don't know, what sign are you on the lunar, I don't know, perspective. Please keep a check of your accounts, keep regular password changes, security, use a password generator, not use the same password on this, different sites. If you don't remember the password, please put it on some application secure on your mobile and computer, not use Excel to storage password, please. And well, that is what I have to do today. If you have any question, please, I glad to help you to solve that.
Thank you so much, Pablo. That was a lot of information. If you have any
Yeah.
questions, put them in the Q&A. And as I said before, we'll get to your questions and answer them for you. All right, so now we will hear from Munish, who will talk about vulnerability management with Microsoft. Thank you, Munish.
Hi, good day. Thanks for that. Let me share my screen here. Are you seeing a giant red slide?
Yes.
Yes. So, okay. Hi, guys. My name is Munish Lachman. I'm the Adobe and Microsoft pre-sales engineer here at Nexus. Today, I'll be walking you through some security concerns that arise when you use Adobe and Microsoft products combined together. So most places are drowning in paper, and therefore they have been using Adobe Sign. Adobe Sign is a product from Adobe themselves that tries to take away unnecessary paper, tries to automate and digitize paper-based workflows, okay? So it saves you on paper, helps you automate sending documents to the right people to get their signatures or other types of information, okay? This is used primarily in digital transformation, okay, of your workplace. So if you want to send out documents for several persons to sign, and they could be working from anywhere in the world on any device, right? Adobe Sign is such a solution. So we see the watchwords here: trust, legal, and safe. It is legal in several countries, the act of getting electronic signatures. You can trust the solution works for you, and it is safe, it's very secure, which is what I'll be going to just now. So what you could do with Adobe Sign: prepare documents, send them out for signature with many people, and get back that document at the final step. It's an automated workflow. It handles routing for you, right? To route to the right people in the right order. People will not be able to sign on other people's signature fields. So it's a very custom, modern solution. All you need is a browser, modern browser, and internet access. You don't need to have anything installed. You could track your documents and you work from anywhere, anytime. So digital transformation in the workplace, this solution is industry and department agnostic. So we see basically any department, you can use this solution to eliminate paper-based workflows and to get signature on many of your documents. Adobe has entered a partnership with Microsoft. So the security aspects of both brands work together to help bulletproof this solution. This solution integrates with several other vendor solutions. For example, Microsoft 365 with Azure, Workday, Nintex, the full Microsoft range of products. So you could work from inside Microsoft Teams. You could work from inside OneDrive or SharePoint and get your documents on Google Drive or other providers and send them out for signatures for several people and get back these documents in your on-premise solution or your on-cloud solution. Now, this solution integrates with the popular Microsoft products here, and we have these security aspects built in these two products here. So if you want to, encourage collaboration, if you want to get things on time, if you want to send out documents for signatures, and instead of waiting months or weeks, you wait hours, right? Maybe minutes in some cases. It integrates to the full Microsoft suite. So to help digitally transform your workplace, if you're already using the Microsoft suite of products, Adobe Sign is a great add-in to integrate with these products to get automated workflows, eliminate these paper-based workflows. So we have rigorous compliance with several security protocols here. We have HIPAA, PCI, GDPR. We have AES encryption at rest and in motion. So the solution is very secure. A lot of effort goes into it, particularly authentication, okay? The person who is signing their signature, there is a suite of different multi-factor authentications available from within the solution for you to prove who you are when you are signing. When emails are sent to you, documents are not attached to it, so you don't have to worry about virus scanning the documents. A secure email is given to you that you use in a browser to open up to sign the document, and it's literally 2 or 3 clicks and you get your signatures and you click send and it goes away, right? So the Trust Center in Adobe will go into more details on how you could even have greater security measures in place. For example, you could put your digital signature on the document. Okay, and of course you would get that. Pablo would talk about that if you were asked about getting a digital certificate, right? To put your digital signature on a document. So again, security, you're asking someone to put their signature from, they might be anywhere in the world on any device. They could put their digital signature. You can't tamper with such a signature, right? On the document itself. And the design solution has that out of the box, in addition to several multi-factor authentication schemes. There are lots of companies using Adobe Sign to automate paper-based workflows with their security measures in place, with their compliance regulations across industries and governments. You see here, lots of big companies use it to get signatures within minutes, right? And again, it integrates from Microsoft. Microsoft has a partnership with Adobe. The Adobe Sign e-signature solution is Microsoft's preferred e-signature solution across their entire product portfolio. Similarly, Microsoft Teams is Adobe's preferred chat application inside of Adobe itself. Satya Nadella talks about security being a great concern with all companies, okay? And the solution in Microsoft itself, apart from the Adobe Sign, we have several solutions here that you can access, right? If you want to secure your cloud workloads, if you want to have compliance management, things like identity and access manager, for instance, like conditional access, secure authentication, identity protection, these things fall under identity and access management. We have governance for information protection. We have risk management. We want to secure your remote work. We have threat protection. Because the M365 solution like Azure Defender and Microsoft Endpoint Protection, all these services integrate with each other to protect your devices, to protect your data, to protect your endpoints, your email. It's a full comprehensive suite under one roof with Microsoft Security. We see that small businesses are actually most vulnerable because in the headlines today, you hear about cyber attacks with big companies, but you really hear about the small guys, right? Become an expert in the field of cybersecurity is not something you want to do. So you want a solution that works for you out of the box, so to speak. You don't want to have to become a security expert yourself. In terms of protection strategies, we have 4 key activities we want to bring to your attention about information protection, okay? All these tools allow you to discover, then allow you to classify your threats after you discover them. Then you protect your different workloads or endpoints or devices. And then you want to monitor that protection over time. So those 4 things: discover, classify, protect, and monitor. The SME IT environment is changing, right? Years ago, we remember having an internet firewall, PC antivirus, and maybe some email filter. That was enough to protect you, right? Using different platforms, different devices, using your own devices and company networks through VPNs, being anywhere in the world, the landscape has changed. Not only the pandemic, but remote work was something before the pandemic. This has changed the way we view security, changed the way we look at data, and changed the way we try to protect our resources. One of the biggest things that has been heavily integrated in all these solutions that you should be using is multi-factor authentication. I know Pablo spoke about that, right? Multi-factor authentication for all users should really be something that everyone should be using. Yes, it adds some friction to the sign-in process, but it's okay. We have some stories here similar to the ones Pablo shared. Slightly horrific here about companies talking about they got scammed, right? They were fooled, they were caught, right? Someone, tricked them, okay? This is something that is happening all the time, right? We have all these security measures in place, but again, the emphasis is on you. Security is a shared responsibility, whether you put in stuff on the cloud or you're accessing some other software application or suite of products. Software security depends on you as well. You can't just say, oh, I'm using product X, and then I'm secure. It is not easy. Hackers have shown that it's not that easy, okay? And this is it. This is it basically from me. We move to the quiz Samantha was talking about. Samantha, you want to speak about this a little bit?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. It's a brief quiz that we have. We have a 50 USD giveaway. All you need to do is scan this QR code that Munish is sharing right now on the screen. Please scan. When you scan and enter, use your first name and last name to enter. Also, please note that when you are participating in this quiz, it's more or less based on the correct answer and the time that you respond. Those will allow you to be in the lead. So once we start seeing the participants populated on the right-hand side, we would more or less move forward with commencing the quiz. So thus far, we don't see anyone joining. It's more or less to review everything that has been presented today. 5 very short questions. So just grab your phone and scan this QR code, or you can go directly to slido.com and enter the PIN, which is 226847. If you don't get a chance to win via this quiz, there is also a feedback form that Rashawn is going to send to participants to capture your feedback from today's session. You're also eligible to qualify for a 50 USD gift card as well. This will be drawn at a random based on your feedback. So Rashawn would share with you the link to the feedback form and the time to respond. Once we have all of the respondents from the feedback form, we will at random draw your name and distribute that USD $50 gift card. The winner of this Slido card should be receiving their Amazon gift card by this afternoon, tomorrow morning at latest. Okay, we see 3 participants. We have 7 attendees. Anyone else, if you're having any issues, please type it and let us know. We'll know if to wait for you guys. We'll give it about a couple seconds again, and then you can begin, Munish.
Sure. Fastest right answer wins, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think we're good here, Munish. If you like, we see 3 participants, you can begin. And okay.
People could join even after we begin.
Okay.
They just would miss out on some questions.
No
All right,
problem.
so we started. Okay, so first question here. True or false? So everyone answered true, which is the correct answer. Yes, Adobe Sign has powerful integrations across several different vendors, applications, most notably Microsoft 365. So let's see who's in the lead. Kemi, hey. Don't worry, guys. We have other questions where you can try your luck at. So next question. Remember, we always want to monitor. So once we have that word monitor there, it quickly gives away the answer. So great job, everyone, for getting that. Give me again. So next question, guys, get your fingers ready. I was split here. It's actually first one, right? Authentication is an identity and access, more specifically identity and access thing. Okay, so who we have here? Give me again in the lead. Oh my, exciting stuff. Next question, guys. So yeah, correct. All of the above, right? There's strict compliance with most regulations in multiple countries. It integrates with a lot of different systems and very easy to use. You literally click and drag and get your signatures done, right? Really, really easy. Give me again. Final question, guys. All right. So split answers again, right? It's the easiest one is really multi-factor authentication for all users. Okay. The others are possible too, but this one is really the right answer there. So Sam, make sure to take a picture of the screen, right?
Thanks, Munish. Thank you so much. Kimmy, congratulations. We will be sending across the gift card. Ernest, Jeanette, don't worry about it. If marketing has any funds available, we can send. If not, you're still eligible to qualify for that feedback form gift card. Thanks again, Munish. We'll pass you over now to Rashawn.
All right, thank you, Munish. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. So now I will go into, for the last couple of minutes, go into my presentation. So let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me know if you're seeing my screen.
Oh yeah.
All right. So again, it's really my pleasure to be able to share with you on the importance of building a security culture and awareness program. I noticed that everyone talked a little bit about what I wanted to share in terms of recognizing security threats online. So I'll skip through some of that, but just wanted to talk about what a culture is. And so at Eknotec Services, we are actually striving to build our own culture as well. Culture revolving around continual learning and around cybersecurity in general. We believe that, a company without a culture, is not a company. Culture affects so many things in our life, not just in companies, but in society in general. If you can look at the slide, the umbrella term there, shows us that it's the social behavior, the norms of society. So, thinking about that, I invite you to think about what kind of culture can be found within your own organization. So when we say building a security culture, why do we need to do that if we have security technology? I guess with everything that was shared, we touched on that security technology is not enough. We still see a constant increase in cybercrime and specifically ransomware attacks. This is a very funny question. You may ask yourself, why would a hacker or a cyber criminal want what I have? When my business is small and I'm from the Caribbean. There was a client of ours who asked that very same question. Then we had to help them recover their database from a ransomware attack. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, cyber criminals target you. We've seen over the past 10 years, and we had some statistics earlier as well from other participants. But according to a statistic by PurpleSec, in 2018, there was approximately 812 million malware attacks. So they estimated it was about 92% transmitted via email. So for technology as old as email, why is it still the driving factor for these attacks? Has it not developed at the pace like other technology have? Or is it that there's something that we're doing wrong? So I believe that there is an organizational shift that needs to take place. So let's look at that shift a little bit. According to Forbes magazine, a security culture, it is an idea, custom, social behavior of an organization that influences its security. It is the most important element in an organization security strategy. So despite the improvements in technology, we see ransomware still being a major problem for many organizations, both small and large. And there are a lot of organizations now seeing the need to adopt a security culture, based on that definition given by Forbes magazine. But there are still many who struggle with this. And from our experience, we've seen the reason why they struggle is because they forget an integral part in building any culture: the people. Who uses email? People. Who uses computers? People. So people are an integral part in that. According to ISACA, the news is littered with companies that are targeted due to inadequate security. 90% of cyber attacks are caused by human error or behavior. So combining technology with a trained staff is the only way an enterprise can truly secure its environments. So the first thing that we need to do is to change the mindset of leadership and the employees in general, so they can be able to learn to recognize security risk and be able to process how to avoid those risks. There was a polling that I had, but based on the time, we would skip over that polling. But just think about that question. Would you say that your organization right now have a security culture based on the definition given before? You can meet Janet, our cybersecurity awareness community mascot. We use this mascot as we work with our clients, helping them to build a security program within their organization. So let's look at what makes a successful security culture and awareness program. Let's begin with the security culture. So to make a successful security culture, there needs to be 4 pillars. These 4 pillars are what we've seen from our own experience, as well as cultivated from different sources online. First and foremost, security needs to be at the forefront of everyone's mind. It's good to implement technology, but unless it's at the forefront of everyone's mind, including outside of the IT department, it wouldn't work. After all, we're not just trying to protect technology, we're protecting people's information. So it needs to be at the forefront of everyone's mind. Number 2, we have clear communication and user training. And Ms. Everson and Pablo touched on this as well, but we can see the importance of having user training and clear communication from the chain, whether you're starting from the top down or from the bottom up. There needs to be a clear communication channel going forward. We've seen in that past 10 years, despite the traditional every 6 months or the annual security training, users are still falling to ransomware attacks. So there needs to be a change, and that change is month by month training, so they can be accustomed to the changing landscape in cybersecurity, and then be able to report it back to help desk. Number 3, we have building a community and rewarding best practices as well. So a security culture isn't built overnight, and it's the same for a security training program. None of those are built overnight, but it needs to be an integral part of every company. It needs to start with every employee. Every employee needs to be thinking about security. And the best way to go about doing that is by building a community and rewarding those community members who are doing well, who have security at the forefront of their minds, not just the IT department, but everyone. There is a saying that I read on LinkedIn where it said that a company without a community is no company. It's just a corporation. And so we need to start, especially in today's environment, we need to start thinking about our community, because our users are part of our community, our employees are part of our community. We need to start thinking about them. And then the final part is sharing intelligence and evaluating users and tools. So every organization should do their best to gain intelligence, whether it's using dark web monitoring or some other tool, or just learning about the threats that target your specific organization, it's important that you learn, it's important that you learn about those types of threats that are out there. There is a resource online called Attack. It's a free resource that you can look at. They have a matrix that you can search through to find common attacks that target a specific sector or a specific type of business. That's one way to start building on your intelligence gathering for your organization. So covering, these 4 pillars of a security culture, it can help to integrate this into your business, into your organization. So what about a security program? What makes one successful? So without reinventing the wheel, we believe in the same concepts that curricula outlines as a successful security awareness program. We will touch on what makes a security awareness program successful. First, we will look at support. So the goal is to get every single employee to understand their role in security. That's right. Now, just like any other program or project, support is crucial to its survival. Without the leadership supporting a program like this, it will not succeed. It will not be successful. So we need to have support from the higher ups and support from the employees. Everyone needs to support a program like this. It's the only way that it can work. Looking at number 2, content. So I believe content is self-explanatory, but content could be from videos, quizzes, phishing training, phishing emulations, reports. Content is important. Without it, you can't have a proper way to measure the user's understanding or what is working and what is not. And without it, you can't really reward users without properly being able to measure them, measure their progress and their success. We also have motivation. So, other than monetary motivation, there are other ways you can motivate employees as well to participate wholeheartedly in a program like this. For example, when we did a security awareness training with a customer of ours, what we did at the end of the training was reward their employees with certificates. And I know that's a very simple example, but certificates help them to feel like they had accomplished something. And it always makes us feel good when we accomplish something or when we have something to show for that. And I kind of touched on measuring already, but without measuring, we can't see how we can improve, a program like this. So it's important that we measure our security awareness program. So now the question is, where do you start? We touched on what makes these programs successful, but how do you start your own program? Let's take a look at that. So when it comes to starting a security program, when it comes to whether it's building a security culture or a security awareness program, it's important to follow these 5 steps. And these 5 steps have been proven not only by us, but many security forums and other organizations out there as well. It's important that you choose an ambassador. So ambassador is someone that within your organization or within your department who would, be trained and come back and train the others in that department or in the organization. Make sure that the program is running effectively. So, you want to have an ambassador, somebody who, it doesn't have to be an IT person. It could just be a regular person, just a regular employee, don't have to be someone in IT. But it's always good, maybe every year we switch up ambassadors so that way everyone gets the experience. 2, you want to set expectations and create a hub of communication. And it comes back to the communication again. You want to have the ambassadors be able to communicate with those at the top and share what the challenges they're facing or get feedback. It allows them to be able to adapt and to change and to build the program better, because again, the program is about people. It's not about technology. It's about people. So you want to be able to open that line of communication for them. Next, we have, give them a voice and provide feedback. And I touched on that a little bit, but you want to give the ambassadors the freedom to act. You don't want to micromanage them. You want to give them that freedom to go about and do what they need to do. Whether it's to be trained, whether it's to do trainings, whether it's to work with the other employees so they can understand the policies that are set within the organization, or understand, learn more about ransomware attacks, learn more about different types of phishing attacks. You want to give them the free rein to be able to do what they need to do. Number 4, we have provide clear objectives. And I just want to add that creating a program like this, there's no one size fit all. But every organization can look at these steps and set their own goals, their own objectives, and then with their ambassadors, build on those goals and objectives so they can find the level of success that they're looking for within their community, within their company. And then number 5 is provide resources. So you want to be able to provide the resources that they need in order to accomplish these objectives or these goals. So we know that, shifting gears and trying to adapt to something new can be challenging. But at Eknotec Services, we will help you to get this done. We work with our clients to make sure that they're able to do this within their company, and there have been levels of success. It's an ongoing program. It's something that's going to continually grow and develop, but they've been able to see some levels of success as they go along. We will send out after this webinar some other resources that you can go through, and it has details on these steps, and what you can be able to do to start implementing these steps. As well as we'll send out an invitation to our community and much more, as was outlined earlier. It's been a pleasure talking with you. We look forward to helping you to build your cybersecurity culture and awareness programs. And if you have any other questions, feel free to post in the Q&A, as well as just sharing with, just email us, share via our email. You can email us as well. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. So we'll now go into the Q&A portion of this meeting. If you have any questions, let us work with you so you can get your answers. Thank you. All right, so do not hesitate to ask any questions if you have any. I see your hand up, Ernest. Do you want to post it in the Q&A and then we can share with everyone? Just a reminder, the Q&A is at the bottom of the Zoom bar. You can see it right there if you're not able to find it. Yes, the recording and the slides will be shared. Thank you, Ernest. Do we have any other questions? Okay. All right, so I hope I'm doing this right in Zoom. Right. So my answer for that question, and I can get some feedback from Pablo and the others as well. My answer to that question of how do you foster an environment where persons see cybersecurity as part of their responsibility and not just the IT guys? As I mentioned earlier, while I was going through what makes a successful culture, I would say it starts with clear communication and user training. I have seen where, for example, that customer I mentioned, where they didn't see cybersecurity as a challenge for them because they are a small business in the Caribbean. And sometimes it's challenging getting them to see something else. But it starts with training the employees, training the leadership, and communicating with them, showing them that this is not just an American issue. This is not just the rest of the world issue, but this is the whole world's issue. And so starting with clear communication, user training, training the users on, how they can recognize these attempts. I think Ms. Everson touched on it. A lot of people don't even recognize phishing attempts, as well as Pablo. So I don't know if you guys want to add to that, but for me, I would say starting with training and clear communication.
If I could just jump in very quickly, along with the training, I'd like to also go through the idea of drills. So how do we ever learn to respond to a fire? We learn through drills. How do you pick the safety team in a company? And a number of larger corporations is that there's a warden who is a simple employee in the department who has precedence during emergencies, and they get the training and they train everyone in their department. Then you have, for example, the fire drill. You have the fire, and in our case, at least the fire company would come, time how long it took everybody to get out, and then they would announce the results to everyone who's waiting in the car park or the rendezvous point. That would basically tell us, hey guys, you took 10 minutes to get out the building. The fire would have taken 2 floors by now, for example. But you don't punish the people for it, but you make them aware of the losses. So drills like that. So Pablo may know about these. There's software that some companies have put in place to test people on phishing attempts. And I have heard from people that it's really made a difference, because a lot of employees are just sitting down trying to do their job and get from 8 to 5 p.m. do the tasks that are given to them. When they see finance manager has sent an email to them, if it looks close enough, they're not double checking that it's spelled finance instead of finance, or like finance is spelled incorrectly. They pass over, it looks close enough, it's a big shot in the company. They're jumping to respond. And actually that is something that it takes drilling people, not punishing them, but drilling them and showing them this is what you missed. It's completely understandable that you miss it. You don't have to be learning challenged or an expert. Like even I, depending on certain fonts, I can't tell the L from the I. I can't tell an M from an N. There are certain letters I cannot differentiate them until I go and put on my readers and pick up my magnifying glass and look and say, oh wait, no, that's not the right, I can't tell them. And that can happen to anyone. So it's a lot of training and measuring and coming back to people that Rayshawn and Pablo would have mentioned. And then when you get that, when you do that enough, you build a culture of it. People will be like, well, one year we had where we failed the fire drill, but then by the next year it was like, hey, we were out the building. We were out the building in 5 minutes. Everyone was out, all the doors were closed. Wardens were happy because they're the general employees and they know that they've done the job well and they're getting kudos on doing what they should do. Public praise, a little $50 check at the end of the month that they can go and spend at various places because they've exceeded the target. Those are things that make a big difference to building the culture that Rayshon talked about, to recognizing threat attacks, and to be accepting of new changes in digital transformation that Munesh touched on, like digital signatures and understanding, oh, a digital signature might actually be better than this paper that was sent around and you can't confirm that who signed it, for example. So it's a lot of collaborative work of everything that we've touched on.
I jump on it, and Ms. Evanson says we have tools to test your environment, your people, and how they respond when a threat, a real email, and maybe a phishing, and understanding what happens if they click it on here, click it on that, go access to this, put your information here. And we have tools with brands like Sophos and other brands that have that test environments. And could we campaign your company to do that? And that is important to know that we are not an expert. Like I show you, I received the email last day, and I suspect that this email and take my time to go click it. Oh, that is not my URL. It's not the correct URL. It's not the person that always type my email or send me a communication, something like that. You have to be malicious with people you have on your email, receive emails from, communications from, text message. Is even if you have a text message with a link, oh, that is interesting. I don't have to receive that. And this is important to understand that no experts on all of these on these threats. Yeah, we are learning. I learning. I have 18 years of experience, but I still learning about that. And I have to understand that the malware changes, the suspicious changes, the people changes the methods of attacking me or using some words, some emails, some access, some tools. Maybe I use every time Dropbox, and now I have to change to OneDrive because security features, because enterprise thinking about new technologies, improve in digital transformation, move to these solutions. I have to add on the next question about how do you get the financial person that is changed the books on board with the funding, the resources need to drive continuous improvement. And it's not just continuous improvement, it's about the risk of have a threat in your environment, is the risk of lose your client because you exposed your personal information of your customers, not even yours, your customers. That is the important data on your environment. How you pay, I don't know, your partners or your employees, the human resources, the name, the address, the phone of your employees. And we have a lot of data on our environments and need to protect this. And the financial person that has understanding that this is not our core on the business, but we have to protect the core to be functionality, to get the face to the clients, and I have the protection of your data. I have the protection of my own data, my systems uptime everywhere, every time you need. My information is protected, your information is protected, and it's important to understand that it's not just expend money. No, it's because you need security when you grow up. When you build a house, you put locks. You need keys to get into the house. It's the same. It's the same of the business. You understand, and it's important to know that the financial always is important, but you have to protect what is must cost.
Thank you, Pablo. Ms. Everson, I saw that you wanted to answer the last question.
Yes, I'm very attracted to that last question. I have 5 years overall in an insurance company. So my thoughts on cybersecurity insurance is that it is one of the necessary steps for change throughout the region. Because when you get that cybersecurity insurance, you know, when you have to get car insurance, they tell you, well, what age is your car? What speed? What's the engine like? And then they use that, they determine your threat, and that determines how much you're covered for. But there's usually a baseline that's expected. The car is checked by a mechanic, it's working, it's a roadworthy certificate has been issued for it. Cybersecurity insurance in the region will encourage more and more companies to hit at least the baseline for cybersecurity overall. And they will be encouraged to hit it because they know that when an event happens, once they have met their obligations to the insurance, they will receive money that can assist them to build back. It doesn't take an $888 million fine to wipe out a small business in the Caribbean. I believe Ray Shorn's presentation showed the average breach costs you $120,000. There are more, for the many small businesses and medium businesses in the region, $120,000 is more than enough to wipe out the company, depending on when it happens. So I'm very receptive and encouraged by cybersecurity insurance being delivered, because that will begin to teach people what the baseline is, and they will build it into their business strategies in future.
All right, thank you, Ms. Everson. So I don't see any other questions. We can leave it open for a couple more seconds to see if there's any other questions that come through. If not, we've reached the end of the webinar, but this is not the end. We still have the feedback form for you to fill out, and this is being recorded, so it will be sent to you as well. Thank you, Jeanette, for that. So yes, we appreciate you being here and participating in this webinar with us. And so we look forward to continually reaching out and hope that you participate in future webinars as well that we will be hosting. I don't know if anyone else have anything else they want to add before we close. I'll just leave the floor open for that. All right, I guess not, so we'll end right here. Thank you again. We look forward to seeing you in future webinars. Have a good day.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.